Alrighty, so this is Matterport. Well, I'm using Matterport to show you guys kind of the future of the insurance industry and how a lot of claims are going to be estimated in the future, especially remotely. So this is a very interesting tool that's being used. So let me show you how it works real quick. Let's start from out here. So this is the floor plan of the home. All these little dot tells you kind of where the damage is and what damage we're looking at. And then these little photos are the outside of the homes right here. So you will just click on them to get into it. Then if you want to go inside the home, you'll double click this to get inside. And we could also measure these things out right here to do a sketch in Xactimmate. So let's go ahead and hop in there real quick so I can show you around. Alright, so as you can see, they taped down and they're using a sheet, plastic sheet to cover furniture. Then there's damage to the ceiling, damage over here, there's damage to the tile. Based on these cuts, these cuts are showing that there was probably water damage and flooding that happened, so they cut out the baseboards, and it looks like they removed all the cabinets. This probably was where the kitchen was, the piping for the kitchen. So with Matterport, you can move through the home. All you have to do is click on the circle. And you can go through a home as if you're in the home. And then you click on these things and it'll kind of tell you what we're looking at, what the damages. It should be more detailed than this. It could be more detailed than this. The person that produces the Matterport, what they do is they have a camera and they put the camera in a spot like right here, and then the camera takes a full 3D around the room, and then they submit it to Matterport, and Matterport stitches the photos together, which creates this. But the people who did this, they should have like water damage to carpet or something like that. That would have been much better than just water. See what's going on in the window. See photo reports. You could have added more information if they wanted to. They just didn't. See photo report. Go in the closet, water cuts. See if there's anything. Nothing underwater on the ceilings. So probably a carpet was here. Carpet was removed. Same thing in this carpet, water cuts in the closet. Let's move through this a little quicker. Let's get to the other side of the house. Seems like it's gonna be about the same thing with damaged carpets. Baseboard was removed down here. This probably was carpet, and let's go in here. Just the bathroom. It looked like they taped up the counter for some reason. Not sure why they did that. They taped the ceiling. They removed the drywall from the ceiling. Removed the drywall of pretty much the entire closet. Or maybe it was tile. Usually you want to see how it was before the mitigation company comes in and start taking stuff out. That way you know what it is that you need to put back. Because they could easily come back and say that this was tile and it will just be carpet, and tile costs more. So Insurance companies usually don't go for that. Let's see. This is probably a garage right here. Yep, garage. Ceiling cut out, probably due to water damage. Ceiling. Okay, let's go out here. Take a look. This is the outside of the home. So that's soffit right there, and that's a damaged soffit, probably from a windstorm. Remember we were talking about the roofing component? This is the mass meter. These are the pipe jacks. So that's a good way to see it now. Let's go to the pool area. So this is the pool. You can move around the pool, kind of see the screens. So some of the screens have been blown out. Looks like the roof is tarped in the back. Let's try this again. This is the rear shed. Looks like an old shed. See, tarping, the roof has been fully tarped, so they're gonna request for that. The soffit has been damaged. You can see it right here. This right here, that's the gutter. Pull screens. This is a really good photo right here. You can see the damage to the soffit right there. This little line, this big white thing, that's called a fascia, is blowing off. Is damaged, and then the drip edge, that's all beat up and damaged as well. Got the windows. See, fencing. This is called a lattice fence. It's like a squared type of fence. It's a weird matter. Just if you type in lattice, you'll be able to see it better. But this is lattice fencing. Exterior door. This is the downspout. So you would have to pay for the replacement of the downspout in this one. Let's go back inside. So with Matterport, you can measure things. So let's say we're going to do the sliding glass door. We could just click on the measurement tool, click the plus, and then it gets real detailed. You see that extra circle thing up there? That's showing you where it's getting started from, so you can see it on a smaller basis. Okay, it's showing 1.5 meters. Let's change that by clicking the settings. We're going to use US metrics. So 5.5 feet 3 inches. Now let's measure that again from top to bottom here. 6 feet 6 inches for that door. So that's how you could use Matterport to measure things inside the home that needs to be measured, and does a pretty good job of measuring it. It's not 100% precise, but it's a good tool. It's a good tool to have and good tool to use to kind of see what's going on in the house, especially if you're working on the desk, working from the desk. Now here, if you go to this view, See, if you click on the measurement, it shows all this stuff, but when you click on the measurement tool, it removes all that stuff because you're about to measure it. And this is how you get the floor plan. This is how you can get a floor plan. This is also how you can get the sketch for the house. So you can start here or wherever you like and just draw it out. So that's the one room. That's probably the master room. Everything, it does not need to be precise. So this is probably the closet right here. Let's draw that out. Even though this part is already covered, I need to get this part as well. That 5 is very important. It makes it easier when you're sketching. So go here, down here, here. This is for the bathroom. Don't need the interior walls really, but you can put them if you like. Not really necessary. Anytime you get confused, you can just tap into it and see what's going on. So now I know that this is a wall and this wall goes all the way around here. But does this wall end here or is it still an opening? So let's take a look. So it's pretty much a continuous wall. So now I know how to go about that, approach that. And what about this piece right here? Okay, this is like a circle. Okay. So how we'll do that is we'll start from, I'm going to start from right here, go down, over, down, over, down, over, down, over, and just follow the outline like you're drawing. Again, anytime you're confused, you can always just stop and go in. I just want to make sure that this is a continuous room, which it is. Alright, so let's go back. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so let's continue down here, up, across, down, all the way over. Now you see this line that goes over here and then down. We're gonna draw that, get that measured out. Okay, so let's go back up. We're gonna start from this side because I want to know the distance from here to here to get the right opening, and then we're gonna go down here and then over here, and I'm gonna put this here just like that. I'm not really worried about the closet. It's not really gonna make a big difference in estimating. If there's any issue with this closet or the contractor needs more for that closet, they could always submit a supplement. But here we go. We're gonna start here, down, over. Now this is the I believe that this is the garage, but because there's something obstructing the photos of Matterport, it looks like there's a big black hole opening. So we're gonna go into it just to verify. Yep. So because the camera couldn't get to this side of the room, that's why you see it looking so weird. But if you're actually to look at it, you would need to measure that part out, come down here, and then up here. Numbers doesn't need to be perfect. We're not aiming for perfection right now. Um, let's close this part off right here. Looks like it's still open. So it looks like we have bathroom, closet, bedroom, closet, and a shared bathroom. So let's go in it. Back out. All right, so there it is. So we have a hallway, bedroom, closet, bedroom, there's closet right here, and then the hallway is right there. So let's put this hallway in right here. Get the bedroom. Let's get this closet. Does not need to be absolutely perfect. And then let's get this bathroom. Alrighty, so that's the genesis of the layout of the. This is going to be what we're going to be using to put in Xactimmate as our sketch in the next episode, in the next video. When you're working with the insurance company, it's really good to have multiple screens, because you want to be able to have this on one screen and then your Xactimmate on another screen. That way you could zoom in and get the right numbers, because sometimes it's hard to see. I'm using one screen right now. I do have 2 other screens on a portable laptop that I can use, but what I'm going to do, not right now while recording this, I'm going to take photos of all of these measurements so I can have it in my phone. That way when I'm going through doing the measurements in Xactimmate, I'll have those numbers handy and be able to put them in pretty quickly. So if you don't have an extra screen, you just use your phone, take a photo of the screen, which is what I do, and then you'll be able to use those numbers. Same thing with the eagle view. You just take a photo of the eagle view if you only have one screen, and then plug those numbers in like that. But that's pretty much it. We're not going to worry about the pool. That's going to be its own video. We're just going to focus on this. With the pools, you usually have to do them using Google Maps. And when I'm estimating, let's say I'm doing a Matterport estimate for a third-party contractor company, what I would do is I would create the floor plan first, and then I will create the roof and put the roof on top of the floor plan, and that's the easiest way to do it. It's kind of tricky to create the roof first and then try to fit a created roof on the floor plan. Then you have to adjust the roof or the floor plan. So I work on the floor plans, then put the roof on top of that, and I'll show you guys that in a video. So I don't like the videos being too long, so we're just gonna cap it off right here. But this is essentially the measurements that you need, and it's the same measurements that you're gonna get if you were to go into this home. You're just pretty much using a laser measure, put it on one side of the wall, straighten over, and then drawing this out by hand on a sketchbook, and then come back into Xactimmate and put it in. So if you can do it, if you know how to do it this way, you will know how to sketch it. Well, it's kind of tricky sketching it. You just kind of have to be good with dimensions and spatial awareness. But this is a good foundation to have, especially with how the industry is moving now. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video.